Hi, and welcome to Cape Town. Today we're here with Tamzin Martin, founder and CEO of BizXnet. Welcome, Tamzin. Great to have you with us.
Thank you, Natasha.
How are you today?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Enjoying the beautiful background here.
Isn't Cape Town just beautiful?
It is. What a priceless view.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
The company BizXnet in January 2011. We do social media training, so it's really for those people within companies who manage their brands online and they actually don't know how to embrace the social media space. We also do social media account management, and with that we have larger organizations saying we don't want to manage these accounts ourselves, can you please we will outsource it to you. And then we also do a social media strategy with companies. So once they know how to do this online, what about the strategy? We can't just arrive at the office every day and think, what do I tweet about today? What are the status updates today? There should actually be a strategy in going forward. So that's what BizXnet does.
Wow. And how did this idea come about? How did you get started?
A few years ago, I started with this in the social media space, but on a personal level. So I've always been a social media enthusiast, but I've also had a passion for entrepreneurship. And I thought, you know what, let me actually combine these two energies and start up a business that can assist other entrepreneurs to not only market their brands online, but also to create a strong network for referrals, which will eventually lead to sales.
And when you started this with the idea, was there anything that made you hesitate at all? Were there any challenges that you were worried about overcoming?
There was only one challenge that I had, and it's finance. It's the common challenge that startups have.
How did you start financing the business?
I had no capital. I was totally dependent on the sales, the training sessions that we had, the social media account management, and that is basically the money that we started operating from. What
do you feel have been the biggest challenges for you so far, and how have you overcome them?
The biggest challenge, especially in a startup, is the fact that you have no success trail. As a startup, you can't show a potential client, this is what I have accomplished, these are the clients that I have. So I was really heavily reliant on my personal profile to let them know who Tamzin Martin is, and that because of who I am, BizXnet will offer professional service and we will deliver as promised.
How did you come up with the name BizXnet?
Oh, the name, yes, BizXnet. A bit difficult for people to pronounce.
I keep doing that.
Yes. People are prone to say BizNet, and the whole idea around BizXnet, the biz is definitely for businesses. With my background for entrepreneurship, etc., the focus is on businesses. The net part is on networking, which I have a very strong passion for as well, and I believe that networking works within businesses. And then the X is for exchanging information and sharing ideas.
How would you define being
an entrepreneur?
And I think the important thing as well is that we want to get the positives and the negatives and the real story of being an entrepreneur in South Africa as well. And being a woman, that's another.
Firstly, I think when it comes to an entrepreneur, it's somebody who combines knowledge, passion, creativity, their play, as well as risk. We can't ignore the fact that there's huge risk in becoming an entrepreneur. Once they've combined that to actually form a business. And then with regards to being a woman in business, when you make the decision as a woman to go into business, you have to be a confident individual. You have to know your product or your service very well. You're up against large corporates. When companies do the 3-quote system, don't be fooled in thinking you were the only company called into a meeting. Woohoo! You know, I was called by this large bank today, and they wanted to know more about the company and how much I'm going to charge to do it. You were not the only company called in. So when it comes to a woman starting a business in South Africa, you have to be confident. You have to know exactly what you have to be prepared before you go into these meetings.
And where do you get your confidence from? Because I think you're a very confident woman and successful woman. And where does that confidence? Where does that come from? Is it something you always had? You work on?
It's something I've always had. One skill I thought I didn't have was public speaking. And last year, when people asked me to do public speaking, I said, yes, of course, and I presented myself as if I am the public speaker. Yet, the whole day, before I actually go and do that public speaking, I spend the day in bed, taking calming tablets, calming the butterflies, etc. in my tummy. And it's only because I've done so many public speaking events last year that I'm now at the point where people approach me and say, can you please come and talk at our event? I can confidently say, yes, I will come and speak at your event.
So you pushed out of your comfort zone.
I pushed myself out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And so, have you had any role models in your life that have helped you with this?
I have. I'm blessed to be surrounded by very strong role models who have contributed in some way in my life. As an entrepreneur, it's not just about business. There's the personal side of you. So I'm surrounded by people who feed into me on a personal level. I'm surrounded by people like an old boss of mine that always said to me, and she put me in situations where she knew I could achieve, even though I didn't think I could achieve. She would put me into those situations. I clearly remember a radio interview one morning where we were both supposed to go to the radio interview, and she was the one that was going to be interviewed, and she didn't arrive for the interview. And so
did she know that she wasn't going to arrive?
Till to this day, I don't know
she won't tell you
if it was a ploy. And I was forced to do the radio interview, and there again, pushed out of my comfort zone completely. But it's all these things that contribute to who you are and who you become at the end of the day.
So what do you think are, with all of those development processes, what do you think now are your strengths? And also, what do you think are your weaknesses? And how do you work on improving those?
My strengths, firstly and foremost, I think I'm now quite popular for my high energy levels. There are people out there that think that I don't sleep. And maybe they're correct, maybe they're not. So it's my high energy levels, it's people development. I want to see people succeed.
I think actually one of your strengths is you're a communicator.
Yes.
You're definitely...
Yes, and a relationships person.
Yes.
So once I've got the client in the bag, I actually keep my clients. And then I think when it comes to weaknesses, this is the part that we don't really want to admit to, but the one thing in my business is I'm not a sales shark. It's extremely difficult for me to chase deals. To hound clients, etc. And maybe it's an opportunity for BizXnet to then employ somebody like that. So yes.
Do you think that's an important aspect of doing business in South Africa, that there should be a social responsible aspect?
Absolutely, absolutely. And then secondly, another weakness in my business is I really need to remind myself that I'm running a profit-making business and not an NGO. Because the minute I see there's a gap to assist someone or a company that cannot afford services, for example, I want to assist. You know, all have to do something. There has to be social responsibility in every organization.
So let's talk a little bit about your vision for the company. Where do you see yourself 3 to 5 years from now?
I would like to see BizXnet grow into a marketing agency that covers all marketing aspects. So it's branding and design, corporate identity, web design, social media marketing, online marketing with a strong focus on social media marketing. That's what I foresee with BizXnet. Two partners and myself are working on a very exciting project, which I cannot divulge right now, but we will have an interview soon again, and we can speak about that project. But it's a project that is going to solve a huge problem within South Africa at the moment, which is the high unemployment rate as well as the high unskilled rate in South Africa.
Well, it sounds exciting. You'll have to keep us updated.
I will.
And since we're running this course for training and supporting entrepreneurs in Africa, could you give us 3 top hints and tips about doing business here and running a business?
Yes. Firstly, I fully believe in networking. So network. If at first networking doesn't bring you sales immediately, it creates brand awareness. And as a startup, you need that. Secondly, your social media marketing. Get to know social media marketing, because it's probably your only choice for marketing as a startup, because traditional marketing is very expensive. And then thirdly, create an online profile that is transparent and clear of any suspicious activity. As I've mentioned before, as a startup, you've got no success trails for that company, for your brand. And people are going to search online to see who you are and what you are about. Yeah. And you don't want anything negative coming up in that search.
So Tamzin, one of the things that we find is important at Afriversity is mentoring people, and obviously you're doing that in your business today. What are your views on Afriversity as an organization, and how do you think it helps African entrepreneurs in business?
I think that for African entrepreneurs, we have to realize that we exist in an ecosystem, and that we have to be dependent on each other for referrals and the support of other entrepreneurs when you are in the entrepreneurial space.
Well, we thank you for all your help with Afriversity, and thank you for today.
Pleasure, Natasha.
So that's over and out from Cape Town.
Thank you.